Welcome to A Teaspoon of Healing, where we explore the pathways to wellness and vibrant living. Listen to personal stories of healing and interviews with experts. It's time to open a doorway to healing in your life through positive changes. Here is your host, Dawn Damari.
Hi, I'm Dawn Damari, and you're listening to A Teaspoon of Healing. Well, today's topic is Reiki. I have a returning guest to my show, Reiki Joe. He's a Reiki Master, practitioner, and teacher based in Phoenix, Arizona. And I also have Frank and Sean from the Sensibly Cynical podcast, which you can find on iTunes. They had a distance Reiki session with Joe. They are in Florida and Joe is in Arizona. And they are going to come on the show and talk about it. They had never had Reiki or heard of Reiki before. So they had a Reiki session and we're all going to chat about their experience. So stay tuned.
This podcast is for informational purposes only and does not constitute medical advice. Please consult a physician or other health professional before undertaking changes in lifestyle or wellness habits. The author claims no responsibility to any person or entity for any liability, loss, or damage caused or alleged to be caused directly or indirectly as a result of the use, application, or interpretation of the information presented herein.
And before we get into our interview, let's hear from one of our sponsors, Goff Tours.
Hi, this is Goff, owner of Goff Tours, specializing in stand-up paddleboarding or surfing lessons. I even do snorkeling. You can reach me here. Orange County has what you're looking for. You can contact me via email at gofftours@gmail.com or mobile number is 949-338-5937, gofftours.com.
Hi, I'm Dawn Damari, and you're listening to A Teaspoon of Healing. Well, today I have three guests with me. I have Reiki Joe, Reiki Master, practitioner, and teacher from Phoenix, Arizona. And I have Frank Jag and Sean Pratten from the Sensibly Cynical podcast, and they are based in Florida. Doing well. Well, thank you for joining us.
Hey, how are you doing?
A Teaspoon of Healing.
Hey guys, woohoo!
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So recently, Frank and Sean had a distance Reiki session with Joe, and we're going to talk about this. So first of all, I'm also a brand new Reiki Master, so I'm not as experienced as Joe. So Joe, can you explain to our listeners what Reiki is and what it can do for you?
Yes, certainly, Don. Reiki is a Japanese term for universal life force energy. We all have access to it. It is everything. And it's basically just channeling that energy and working with it on a vibratory level, because each energy does have a vibrational level to it or frequency. And we use that energy to clear any lower energies or denser energies or blockages, which may be preventing you from your highest good or from doing what makes you go and the light you bring out into the world. And sometimes we get stuck, and the Reiki is just one of many great tools to help one another out.
Excellent. And so you can also do Reiki via distance. So how is that done?
Absolutely. So any connection is, and whether it's through voice, messaging, can even be through thoughts. Often you'll be thinking of somebody and come to find out they're thinking of you, or this is all energy and it's all connected. We're all connected. So simply through conversation as a Reiki practitioner, each has different abilities. One of mine is an intuitive, so I'm able to connect with another person's energy and basically pick up any blockages that may be present in their chakras. And that comes out through that interaction with that other person. So kind of hard to explain beyond that, as the experience truly is different for everybody,
Right.
but very effective.
Right. Wonderful. So Frank and Sean, you recently had a distance Reiki healing with Joe. But first of all, prior to this, had you ever heard of Reiki?
No, of course we had you on the show, and that was my first exposure when you were a guest on our show.
Right.
So no. Frank?
I've heard of the theory. I don't think I knew it was called Reiki. But no, yeah, I never did Reiki before.
Yeah. And Dawn, if I can just interject here, Reiki is also termed energy healing, or Reiki is just this tool of energy work. There's other forms of it. It can be even through yoga or acupuncture or the meridian system within our bodies. All kinds of different energy moving, however you want to term it, modalities, if you will, to clear blockages that can manifest into disease or discomfort, stress, anxiety, which is pretty prevalent in our culture today. So while I was telling these guys, sure, I use Reiki as my tool to help people clear blockages. They do the same thing through their podcasts. That is their way of using their energetic abilities to help people who are, maybe in a weird spot and need to hear something to lighten their spirits up. And that's how they do it. So we all have these abilities to work energy. We just call this part of it Reiki, and it's pretty cool.
Awesome. So what was your experience like, Frank and Sean? One of you guys or both of you guys want to share? How did you feel going into it? And what was it like when you were getting the distance Reiki with Joe?
We were talking about the Reiki. I think Joe did something about with Sean's grandmother.
Yeah, my grandmother passed not too long ago, and that was a kind of a traumatic experience for me. And he helped me kind of clear my mind a little bit and help me understand that everything happens for a reason, and that she's in a better place, and that she would be happy with how my direction is going in life. And he gave me like a perspective that I didn't think about or wasn't conscious of before talking to him. So I wanted to thank him for giving me that, clear thought process.
Oh, you're very welcome. That's awesome. I'm glad
experience.
That came through for you. And it's truly different for everybody. And when you're working with energy, we have to really surrender as practitioners and try to get out of the way and trust the information coming through. And in this case with Sean, it connected up with his grandma, and she's very present with him and definitely a guide on his journey. So it's great to allow that energy to come through and help him see it in a different light. And that's what the Reiki does. It just it literally allows you to take a different view from the other side of what a situation, a moment, or an experience is. So that's awesome. You're very welcome. And thanks for sharing that.
No problem. I just wanted to say that she was like a huge burst of energy. Every time I would see her, she would always have a smile on her face. So I try to think about that and try to think of the good times instead of thinking about how much pain she was in toward the end. I try to think about the good times. And talking with Joe, Reiki Master, really, like I said, it was really something that I'll treasure and think about as I continue my day-to-day activities.
That energy, you just said it. You take it with you everywhere you go and continue to do so. It serves you well. And the people you come in contact with greatly appreciate that. And that is grandma, and continue to honor that. And I love it. She's so happy. And my left side's all lit up right now. So she must be jumping in joy on the other side here. Awesome. Woo. All right. Now I'm really tingly. Thank you.
So what did you guys feel during the session after what you guys described? What else did you guys feel?
I didn't feel too much, but we did do a lot of talking about the background of his experience with Reiki and things about mediums and stuff. And so I liked it because it made me think about things I haven't thought about in years. As far as the actual Reiki, I don't know if we actually went through an energy with me, but
I think we hit on your dad a little bit.
Yeah, your father. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Not that.
Joe said me and my dad are a lot alike, which is pretty accurate.
Yeah, and you understand. But there was something that kind of clicked on that for you. It was just very subtle, I think, but I could be mistaken. Yeah, we didn't go too far into that.
No, I think you said we argue a lot because we're so much alike. And that's what we went with.
Well, I mean, everyone has their, what they have in common, and some things that, people have disagreements, but they get over those, and family is important because everyone knows friends come and go, but family's always there.
Yeah. And with like our fathers and stuff and parents, it's like fire, right? Like, Frank, Like, you know, he's going to throw you some fire. You're going to throw him some fucking fire. And that's how you guys do it. But you can bring water to that situation and give him a little love. And, you know, that's going to flow right back to you. And you can work it however you want with dad and show him that, because you're going to catch him off guard with that. It's cool. It's all good. It's all positive. It's just interesting to see how our relationships, especially with our parents, impact us and shape us into how we see our world today. And doesn't make it good, doesn't make it bad, but it really is an interesting perspective.
Yeah. Hey, Frank, you should mention Reiki to your dad next time you see him. Yes. And see what he thinks.
And he'll think you're crazy.
Well, I mean,
he's already there, so
all right,
be
cool.
So how did you guys feel afterwards? After you had the Reiki session, did you feel lighter? Did you feel happier? Some people feel emotional afterwards. So how did you guys feel afterwards?
I think I felt a little more emotional than Frank, in my opinion, because that's more my person. I'm a little more emotional, well, a lot more emotional than he is. He's more, he's
the man of the relationship.
Cut and dry through, tries to keep things steady. Doesn't show his emotions as much as I do. I'm pretty emotional. So it brought out a little bit more in me, in my opinion. Maybe he differs, I don't know. But I felt a lot, after just that brief period of time. So, Frank, how did you feel after?
Afterwards, I just really felt really curious. I really wanted to understand the idea between the crystals and what causes the crystals to do what they do. So I did a lot of research on crystals. And I tried to figure out what it was about crystals and energy.
You're more of a analytical type, Frank, numbers and all that stuff. So yeah, I could totally see where you're drawn to that and understanding, frequencies of stones and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. And, same with music notes and whatnot. And before anybody beats me up for that man in the relationship comment, I've been told many times I'm the woman in my marriage. So it's all good. It's cool. We have to balance each other out regardless of who's who, right? And we all have that masculine, feminine energy. It's all good, man. Anyways.
Right. And there's always a balance, in any friendship or relationship.
Yes.
I just can't stop thinking about it because the crystals, they say, make people feel better, and so do trees. And I just can't help but think, are these just natural filters? Is that what makes makes people feel better?
The vibration level of it in and of itself is a higher frequency than perhaps what your energy is in your hand even. And you will feel that. You'll pull it. Same with, Mother Nature. It's such a high vibrational frequency when you're out connecting in a park or at a mountain hiking or at the beach, because that's what it is, versus where normally we're in a building somewhere that's drowned out the vibration and cement infrastructure, Wi-Fi signals, all this crap we're taking on constantly. So the crystals have wisdom, correct? They've been here for thousands of years. Yeah. They have taken on energy. They are wisdom. They have information we can't even translate into words, truly. So if you're holding your crystal in meditation, you're going to be accessing a lot of however you want to phrase it, information and wisdom that we just don't get on the daily typically. Whereas our ancestors, that was their way of caring for each other. That was their way of caring for themselves and getting wisdom. It was through nature, and we get it differently now. So stones have a huge appeal to a lot of people because it's what it is. And you can literally feel the different frequencies of a stone. And people say, well, how do I know what stone to go get? What crystal? Guess what? This is how awesome they are. They actually choose you. So go to a rock store and allow yourself to be drawn to whatever you're drawn to. Grab a stone, feel it. Oh my gosh, become one with however you want to phrase it, and make it yours. And it's pretty cool.
So Reiki Joe, would you consider it, am I off base on thinking you could also think of it as a symbol, like something to help psychologically, or am I off base by thinking, you could use it as like a metaphor?
A crystal or a rock or a gem?
Yeah, like basically like a crystal. Can it be looked at as like a symbol of how you're feeling? Absolutely. Or like a metaphor?
There's no rules on it. And if you grab a crystal, clear quartz crystal, and you hold on your heart, and if for you that's a symbol of purifying your heart and making you feel whole again, that's what it is. And you have to trust that. That's tapping into your intuition on what that rock is for you, or that stone, mineral, or job. I mean, you could take it that frame of thought to anything, and you just really have to trust what you're feeling, and that's what it is. Honor it.
Yeah, I mean, I maybe not to the level of Frank on the research, but I did some thinking on that as well. And like you mentioned the colors of our shirts and how even our appearance means something too as a symbol.
Absolutely.
Correct?
Subconsciously,
Yeah.
we are working our chakras on a daily, and it's through the foods we're drawn to. It's through colors we dress ourselves in. It's through a lot of things, but we're never taught this stuff. And it's really about learning yourself and you're understanding your own energy. And that's why Reiki is an amazing tool. It allows you to connect to yourself at the core and and expand your vibrational frequency. And that makes you more in touch, not only with what's around you, but more importantly, what's within. And that's a pretty powerful, I don't want to call it power, but it's an ability that we all have access to.
And wait, Joe, you brought up something. So the clothes that you choose to wear, the colors. So
Yeah.
whatever color you're gravitating to.
Wear it.
So what about you guys? Like, sorry, Frank and Sean, what colors do you usually gravitate to?
I usually gravitate towards bright colors, so I like usually wear bright red pants to work and bright shirts because the colors make me energetic. They kind of speed up my adrenaline a little bit more than, say, dark things that kind of bring me down.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm more of I guess lately, probably in the last like 5 or 6 years, for some reason, I've been drawn to pastels. Like right now I'm wearing like a light orange shirt. I don't know why, but I have, lavender, I have mint green, I have light blue. I don't know what it is, but and then usually most of the time I wear a white shirt or something and jeans. But for some reason, bright colors, and then of course dark when I'm usually at work or whatever. But when I'm casual on weekends, I'll wear those colors. And then during the work week, I'll wear, darker stuff. Just, I don't know what symbol that is. Joe, maybe you can explain. I don't know if that has anything to do with what it is, but that just seems to be dark for work, light for play. I don't know.
Oh, it's funny. It's funny. You're telling me that. I'm like, why not wear light all the time?
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. It's when I'm out hanging out with friends or whatever out at the restaurant, it's usually light clothes.
I know you shine through that dark clothing during your work week, but I think those folks that you work with need to see that bright shine on a little more. That's just what I feel. And I know you already do it, but man, and that'll help keep the negs away a little more. I think you'd pick up a little too much because we all take on energy. But I know you're pretty sensitive in a positive, loving way, but sometimes the cooties get in. So keep those negs at bay, brother.
So if I'm drawn to wearing gray, I mean, I always gravitated towards black and gray. So is that maybe what I do seem to attract? Not negative energy, but maybe a little bit. Do you think it's the colors I'm wearing, the dark blues, the grays, and the black?
Oh, gray always, to me, just indicates crown chakra, like a lot going on in the head. That's for me. That's my frame of reference when I'm reading energy. I get black's a big color for women. I know some women, that's all they wear, but I also feel their energy. And I'm not saying that in a negative term, but those people who wear all black, okay? And yeah, and you feel it. And it's cool. I wear blue a lot because I want to be very fluid and calming, and I want to be able to speak clearly as much as I struggle with that. I'm a throat chakra guy. I've never been able to really speak my truth. And here, this is all I freaking do on the daily, which is kind of cool. But it's always going to be a place that I'm going to have to work. And Frank, you're going to be working your root chakra. It's cool, man. It's not a bad thing. I'm working it too. Low back pain guy for years, and it still creeps on me, but I know why. It's not because I bent over wrong. It's because I got some root security issues of my own that I constantly have to work and just to keep me up. And I think we all have that responsibility to understand ourselves in ways that we don't bring others into it or, plug into them to love the parts of us that need love. We need to do that because nobody can do that for us. And anyways, I'll stop on that.
So you kind of found that he had some low back pain. And so, yeah, that's the root chakra. So what should he do to kind of resolve that? Besides, I guess, more Reiki, but what else could he do?
Like meditation's a great grounding activity or getting out and connecting with nature. Because the more you connect with Mother Nature, the more you're going to connect with yourself. It's that simple, because that's what we are. We aren't chairs, couches. I'm not saying you're on couches and chairs all day, but most of us are, or beds. We are earth. We are minerals. We are all these things. And we need to connect with source as much as possible to keep us grounded and move that energy throughout our chakras. We don't hit the lowers as much as we used to, let's say, as a civilization, because we are up in our head. We're up top, told to use our brains constantly. We're always looking at a screen and deciphering information, and it's constant. But we don't do the other thing, which is we don't do the same with earth and the trees and the bushes. I know it's weird, go hug a tree, but sometimes stop and, I don't know, just kind of lean on it, like be casual and feel it. It feels fucking great. And you can't deny that. We need more of that.
But I think, depending on the people, I think different people were in the woods, they wouldn't be as comfortable as other people would be in the woods. So I think what brings you positive energy is probably depends on the type of person.
True. Everybody knows what makes them vibe, right? And they need to get more of that in their life, whatever that is.
Yeah, so like I'm more the outdoors person, I think, than Frank is. So I'm actually an Eagle Scout. So I've been in woods and on canoes and stuff since I was 5. So that's another thing. That's like one of my kind of passions. Lately I haven't been out as much as, I'd like to. And, maybe that's an avenue I can explore, to release, negative energy. I think I may, try to camp more.
Absolutely.
But
Dawn understands that, living on the beach, how quickly that energy can move through her just by going for a simple walk, right, Dawn?
Yeah, that's true. Although today is a little calmer now, but there's these Santa Ana winds, so I'm weird. Okay, so what does it mean if there's certain kind of weather you don't resonate with? For me, the dry, hot winds, I'm not feeling it. I don't know about you guys in Florida, but you guys had that hurricane not long ago. The winds. Is there any kind of weather that kind of bugs you?
I hate the cold.
Me too.
I lived in the snow for 22 years, and I can't stand the snow. I get a pneumonia every single time.
I was in Richmond, Virginia when Blizzard Jonas came through, and that was crazy. That's something I've never experienced in my life. I'm a Floridian, and I went up to Virginia for work, and then all of a sudden I'm dealing with a foot of snow at my doorstep. So I'm not a big fan of cold either.
But as far as the last hurricane that came through here, it just turned, and we only got like not that 30 to 50 mile an hour wind, so it wasn't that bad. As far as that can,
it was tropical storm force winds in Pensacola.
That's not bad. It'd be nice. It's nice kite weather there, but as far as Sean can attest, I keep my thermostat at 80.
It's so hot in here
while being in Florida.
God.
So
every time I come in here to record or whatever, I feel my perspiration just increasing. I need a cold.
You need a who?
Now, Joe.
A cold one?
Oh.
Well, it's hot, so hot in here.
It's your Kundalini rising. It's all that energy and love you want to give to Frank. It's all good. And Frank loves it. Steamy. That's a great relationship, guys.
So if there's certain weather that you gravitate to, is that something related? Can you relate that to chakras and Reiki as well?
Wow. You know what, Dawn? I never even thought about that. To each his own. And it's kind of crazy because I've lived here in the Southwest and it's so dry here, but like this past year, I feel so drawn to water. And I'm like, is there like something happening within me that I need to be near water? I don't know. But I guess we have to trust where we are for why, and go with it and honor it, I guess. But each his own.
Now, Frank and Sean, so you'd heard only a little bit about Reiki. So afterwards, one of you were more emotional. So do you think you would do it again? Have another Reiki session?
Yeah, I think I would. Just to, after listening to Reiki Joe and then yourself, which, by the way, I wanted to congratulate you on, your recent achievement as a Reiki Master. But I think I would try to find somewhere local and, see if I can build off my knowledge that you guys have given me and maybe see where, that goes in the future. So, yes, I would like to try it.
I definitely want to try it because I'm really curious about learning more about these crystals.
No.
So I want to know how these crystals help. I mean, I understand that I got to understand the science behind it a little bit.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Love it.
So, like, where can
Yeah.
people learn about the science behind crystals?
Simple Google search or like a rock store near their home. They often have a lot of educational materials that you can grab and take with your rock, or it'll tell you what each stone's known for or used for traditionally. And a lot of it is really touch and go kind of thing for you, what you feel. That's really cool. And Sean, I hope you have the opportunity to experience a hands-on or an in-person session where you are just laying on a table. Same with you, Frank, and they just move that energy through your body. That's a different experience, but again, same premise of clearing negative energy and basically charging up your chakras with positive, loving life force energy. So you guys are awesome.
Well, thank you. This has been a great experience for me.
Yeah, and thank you for teaching us about what Reiki is and really teaching us the background of how you got there, just so we can more understand the idea of Reiki and where it comes from.
Absolutely.
Hey, Don, I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
How long of a process is it to, I guess, learn to become a Reiki master, or I don't know how much you want to divulge into your, your path to your rank, but, how long does that process take usually?
Well, it depends on the person, but for me, I guess I can share how I learned. So I heard about it and I had a Reiki session in town, and then I met Joe on Instagram. People complain about Instagram a lot, but actually I connected with you guys and with Joe there. And my first level 1 Reiki, I was attuned via distance with Joe. Now I've heard people tell me, "Oh, you can't do that," but it worked. It worked. And then there was about 6 months, and level 1 is, and correct me if I'm wrong, Joe. Level 1 is you learn a symbol and you learn self reiking, so you can learn. I think that's really useful for people, even if they don't want to heal others, to learn how to use Reiki or to channel this through yourself, and you can heal yourself, whether it's emotionally or some pain in your body. So I learned that, and about 6 months later, I took a level 2 course here in my town, and then I think it was almost 8 months. And then I took just recently the master level. Now, some people, it depends. Some people, there was a lady in my class and she was attuned to level 2 in 1998, and she just now decided to go for master levels. Maybe I did a little quickly, but she said you have to have at least 6 months in between level 2. And level 2 is when you learn more about that you can help yourself, but it's also then you're a practitioner and you can heal others. When you're a master, it intensifies that, and you also learn how to pass on the Reiki to others. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Joe.
No, that was awesome, Don. And it truly is a different experience and timeline for everybody, as we're all different vibrations and energy. And congratulations on that, Don. That's so cool. You're awesome. And Don will also tell you the Reiki is the master.
Yes.
The master teacher.
That's true. I'm not, they say Reiki master, but really it's the Reiki it's mastering. It's not like we are masters.
No, the Reiki, we just work, it works through us. It's beautiful. And part of my mission is to take it to the world. And Dawn is a part of that. And you guys just being open to it and trusting that the energy does find you. It will find you. And for good reasons, whether it's just to learn more about crystals or to maybe look at a situation in a different light, or most importantly, to really connect in with self and take care of our stuff, because it's important that our best selves are for the world, right? Our loved ones are what's important to us, whether it's a job, relationship, what have you. We all have that right and deserve to feel that love and energy from one another. So it's cool.
Yeah. So what do you see as the future of Reiki? Like, is it getting popular, or is it getting more popular, in culture, or is it still kind of something that isn't widely known, to the public, or is it?
Dawn, did you want to answer that?
I think it's becoming more popular, but I live in Southern California, so anything that's kind of quote unquote new agey will always be popular here. It was always kind of underground popular here, but it is becoming more mainstream. When I was getting certified in nutritional therapy, there were a couple girls also learning Reiki, and crystals are super popular right now. And I think that's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. Some people don't think that. They want to kind of keep it for themselves. No, I think the more people that learn about it, the better.
Absolutely. I see it growing. I didn't know what the heck Reiki was a few years ago. Had no idea. And the new age thing, I get it, but this is not new age. This is ancient. It's an ancient practice. It goes back to before everything that we know today about self-care almost. And it's super powerful. I see it spreading and growing. I know it's here locally in a high school. Students can graduate as a Reiki Master,
Really?
which is freaking awesome. And I had the honor of meeting with that teacher who brought that to the school. And she's right here in the same town that I practice. And we hope to do more with that. So corporate world is going to get a blast of Reiki. They're starting to, and it's going to help a lot of people. And I see it growing exponentially. And I'm not being biased. Okay, maybe.
So you see it probably catching on more in the East Coast, more mainstream probably in the next few years. Is that what you're saying?
Definitely. I know some hospitals, many hospitals actually across the country that have taken it on to help their patients manage their healthcare. And it's a two-way street. It helps patient, it helps the medical providers. It's a great addition to or a combo with Western medicine. They work together and they can really help people get back to where they need to be on their journey. So definitely.
So, what about you guys? So, out there on the East Coast, is this something that you hear about? Is it becoming more popular, or is it Reiki still kind of not really known? And I did actually read something recently. I think it was a priest in Ireland who was saying that he thinks Reiki is satanic.
Yeah, actually, somebody did send me that article. And okay, I only know Reiki for what I know it for, and it is positive, loving energy. But I understand people can have whatever experience they have with it. And I respect that. But I only know it for what I know it. And that's all I can really say about it.
Yeah, there is a Reiki Master in Pensacola, but like he said, you'd have to look him up.
Yeah, Reiki in the East Coast isn't something that's you would just normally come about. You'd have to actually go looking for it if you wanted to find it.
Yeah, and a lot of people aren't open practitioners because it is different and there are stigmas attached to it, like a lot of things that people don't understand. And when people don't understand things, fear sets in and things may get said, and whether they're correct or not, that's for each person to decide on their journey. And as far as finding one, that comes up a lot. Trust where you're drawn to. Trust a place. If you do a Google search and you're pulled to some place, see there's something there, whether it's positive or maybe not that person. You're going to get something out of that interaction and understanding what type of master or Reiki practitioner you feel you are to work with. Trust your heart, really trust it.
Yeah, I think that's something that, like I said, is very intriguing to explore. So we'll see.
It is something I think you'd have to try a few times, because I think part of feeling is understanding what you're looking for. So I think you should do it probably a few times for it to really take an effect. Or do you think it would take an effect right away?
Everybody's different and everybody has a different experience. Like you may have a session 1 week and experience this, and then have a session 2 weeks later and experience something entirely different. But I can say, based on my experience as a practitioner, the results are very positive. And it's a beautiful thing.
So, Joe, do you mind sharing, since our listeners may have not heard the episode about how you found Reiki? I found your story really fascinating. I'm not sure if Frank and Sean want to share something first before that, but I wouldn't mind if you shared just the story of how it found you. But I'm going to leave it also for questions for Frank and Sean first.
Yeah, like I said, I had no idea what Reiki was. Reiki found me, spiritual awakening, brought forward this energy. Had a moment on a family camping trip where I saw a light, I saw the sun, and basically felt a blast of energy. And from that point forward, was able to be on this journey of discovering what has happened to me and kind of where it's going. From what I understand, it's helping people heal themselves through a high vibration. And I'll keep it that simple on it. So since that time, once I understood what it was, have basically devoted my life to educating people on it and helping them use it for the higher good. And it's pretty cool, but that's about it.
That is, I love that story, because that's one heck of an experience. Because I bet at one point you know there's something stronger, some stronger power, but at the same time, you probably half are afraid you're going crazy, right?
Yes, it was a very frightening experience, mostly for my family. However, I understand it on deep levels that I have a hard time expressing and putting into words. You know, former corporate guy, almost 20 years, and this thing took me. So there is something beyond us, beyond ourselves. It's about us, guys, and we need to help each other along this journey and keep going together.
Yeah, I think it's something that you could. Is this something, Joe? I guess I'll change subjects. Is there a way, or is it popular, I guess, for group sessions? Or is it more of a like individual, like do you not get the same experience if you with multiple people at a time?
Reiki shares are very common in the Reiki community or the energy healing community. Like a simple search on Facebook might find you some nearby, and it's everybody just sharing the Reiki love and taking turns, sometimes multiple practitioners sending in energy. I haven't participated in one, believe it or not. And the funny thing is, I've had probably less than 10 Reiki sessions on me in my life, which is, I need more. But no, I've heard nothing but positive results out of that as well. And the energy is amazing. It's always typically a positive experience from what I've heard.
Right.
So, what do you think has held you back from getting more Reiki sessions on yourself? Just time, or just slip your mind, or
all I want to do is give the Reiki and spread it constantly on this thing of movement. And it's very hard for me to shut it down. And that's something I've had the hardest challenge with as an energy worker is shutting it down and taking maintenance. And that's important for anybody, whether you're a corporate employee or an energy worker. You have to make time for yourself, whether it's meditation, just shutting off your phone, saying no to somebody and being by yourself. It's so important. And that's it. Just passion for what it is and wanting to go, just keep spreading it. So I plan on getting more as like about maintenance. It has to be because it's so amazing. Every time I get it, I feel like I just got rejuvenated 20 times over, and it's such a beautiful thing. And I get to go pass that on. So I got to keep that going. Thanks for the reminder on that.
Yeah. Don, how often do you see yourself using Reiki, after you get this, after you became a Reiki master, do you see yourself helping others as like Joe, or do you see yourself following his kind of footsteps, I guess, for lack of a better word, or maybe more casual, I guess, in your experiences moving forward?
Well, I'm not totally sure yet. I know that I've been kind of stepping up as far as myself. I tend to absorb the energies of other people a lot. So ever since being attuned to master, I've been able to quote unquote, master that more. Again, it's not that I'm not a master, the Reiki is the master, but I've been able to manage that a lot more. And Joan knows from some of our conversations that there are some times that I guess the vibration could be really low. And I guess we can describe what the difference is between high and low vibrations. But just when you're feeling depleted, and it's not because you're sick, you're just taking on everything else or allowing your mind to go in places and think poorly about yourself. So I think that's really helped. But I do actually really want to heal more people with it. It's getting people to be receptive. I don't know about you, Joe, but in my community, there's quite a few Reiki masters. And so I'm probably I'm still going to seek out people here, but perhaps a little bit of distance as well, just to reach people who do not have a lot of that in their community.
Dawn is awesome because she has her nutritional background and she's a healer. And the Reiki is just a tool that's going to amplify her nutritional gifts of healing and abilities and anything else that she does for people because she does it. And the Reiki, it keeps her lit and beaming even higher. And that's beautiful. And whether you're a manager at some company, the Reiki is going to make you a better manager at that company. It's just going to bring your best forward. It knows no other way. And that is to dispel negativity and to turn it the other way. And people pick up on that. It's a beautiful thing. It really is.
Yeah, I agree. I think that maybe it's kind of coming strong, in popularity wise, with more people like yourself and Don spreading the word on Reiki and how you feel the experience I guess what I'm saying is how you feel better as a better person while experiencing Reiki. I think that you guys are doing great things, telling people that you can feel a lot better about yourself, and that, no matter what happens in your life, no matter what, that's the message I've gotten is from you guys. In all actuality, the message I've gotten is, I don't know about Frank, but the message I've gotten is it's basically a message of, positivity. And I think that's what it is that's just my opinion. It's something to keep your mind positive, and no matter what goes on in your life, there's always this, I guess, time to think to yourself and think about the good times and think about the future and not dwell on the past. Do you understand what I'm saying and agree that, sometimes people dwell on the past?
Absolutely. It's powerful. It's empowering is what Reiki is. It's a empowering tool. And that's exactly it.
I think it does clear blockages from the past. When you have negative experiences, they can become patterns and can become blockages. I heard someone tell me an interesting quote. It said, the past does not create the present, the future creates the present. I'm still a little bit confused on that, but what I took from it is that the past, yeah, those blockages and those patterns, we just keep thinking, oh, if this is what happened 3 years ago, 5 years ago, it's going to happen now. This happened 20 years ago. There are some problems with your family or some stuff at school. It tends to repeat. But what I found about Reiki or probably any other energy healing, it eliminates those. So maybe that's what he meant. He was also an energy healer who said this: the future creates the present.
Yep, absolutely. Because you have a vision of where you're going. And when your energy is put into that vision, you become. And you're not what was, never will be. It's awesome.
So Frank and Sean, we're going to sign off soon, but I want you to tell our listeners about your podcast, Sensibly Cynical. Where can they find it? What's it about? And what's going on with the podcast?
Yeah, we are available on Google Play, iTunes, Stitcher, and basically wherever you get your podcasts. As far as the direction, I think we're headed to more of a kind of a popular, like pop culture, like what's the subject that people are talking about? What's the hot topic in culture today? And, we've done some interesting interviews. We've interviewed a comedian based out of Texas. We've interviewed someone that was on a reality TV show, and we've kind of morphed into, obviously we're a comedy. Sometimes we dwell into comedy a lot on our content, but I think we're trying to be also, focus on society and culture as well.
Awesome.
And better than anything, he finally gave me the password to the Twitter account.
Yes.
So now we're posting.
Steamy just got hot and steamier.
Yeah. So now Frank's posting a sensible thought of the day.
I love it.
What's a recent thought a sensible thought you have posted? And then the cynical, how does that tie in?
Oh, I'm going to get cynical today when I actually get to the actual Twitter. But usually it's like things like about, it's the weekend, sensible thought, go to the beach.
Yes.
I think I tweeted yesterday. It said, I made Sean tweet because I didn't have my thing on it. But I said, football, boobs, and beers, because we were at Twin Peaks. I said, that's happiness right there.
It's more of a comedic tweet to get everyone laughing, and, it's more of a lighthearted kind of approach.
The truth is funny, isn't it, boys?
Really, he just gave me.
What's that, Joe?
I said the truth is funny, isn't it?
You got to have fun in life,
man.
And that's the message that
oh my gosh, that's cool.
I think that's the message that we are trying to convey on our podcast is, if we can make someone laugh for 20, 30, or 40 minutes, then that's a win on our end. But usually we like to, like he said, we usually end it with a sensible or cynical thought of the day. So we're just transferring that to social media as well. We're going to try to get people talking and try to hit on maybe some controversial subjects, we're going to try to get more of an online presence more than just, us talking. We're going to try to build a community, people, conversations on things, interactive.
Love it. And you guys are already doing it, but I know it's like going to blow up. Cool. Yes.
I love it. And so, yeah, you can find Sensibly Cynical on iTunes. And I love the topics. I was on there once. It was super fun, really funny, high energy. And when you're putting out comedy out to the world, you're
Yes.
raising vibrations. You're raising people's vibrations. They're having a
Boom.
bad day and they're laughing. It's pretty much some energy healing right there.
Amen. Yes. That's a master speaking.
Yeah, our Instagram is Sensibly Cynical Pod, and we're also on Twitter, Cynical Sensibly, and that's our social media accounts, our main two that we use.
We have Instagram? Why didn't you give me the password to that?
Because you don't use Instagram.
I'll figure it out.
He's always trying to stir up trouble, Joe.
Yeah, I know. It's cool.
It makes life fun. If you're not trying to stir up trouble, what are you really doing?
I'm trying to provide structure to the show, and he's just talking.
Now, Joe, where can people find out more about your Reiki services?
They can find me on Instagram, Hyr Vibrations, or online, hyrvibrations.com, or 602-770-9397, or rootshug@gmail.com. Reiki on, right? That's it.
And Frank and Sean, is there anything you want to add before we sign off? Anything you want to say to our listeners?
No, we wanted to thank you for having us on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having us on the show, and it's great that you guys have just become our Reiki Masters, and I hope that when you guys continue your journey, just more success with it.
Oh,
You guys are awesome.
Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Thank you for listening, and thank you, Sean and Frank, for joining us, and enjoy your day in Florida. I'd actually really like to visit Florida. I've never been there, so
We're going to get there,
sounds
Don.
fun.
And we're all going to get together someday
exactly.
and have a great time.
We can have a drink sometime and laugh over whatever,
Crystals.
That would be fun. We laugh over crystals.
We will, guys.
Thank you for listening to this episode of A Teaspoon of Healing. If you have any questions for me, visit my website, teaspoonofhealing.com, click on contact, and I will get back to you. When you're on my site, feel free to read my blog, show notes, and you'll have access to all the other episodes, as well as transcripts.
Thank you for listening to A Teaspoon of Healing with Dawn Damari, your home for wellness and vibrant living. For more resources on wellness and vibrant living, visit us online at teaspoonofhealing.com. This podcast is for informational purposes only and does not constitute medical advice. Please consult a physician or other health professional before undertaking changes in lifestyle or wellness habits. The author claims no responsibility to any person or entity for any liability, loss, or damage caused or alleged to be caused directly or indirectly as a result of use, application, or interpretation of the information presented herein.